Well, we're going to begin with a routine traffic stop that ended with a police officer using a taser on a mother in front of her children. We're going to talk about with that woman exclusively in just a moment. But first, NBC's Tamron Hall has her story. Tamron, good morning.
Good morning, Meredith. Well, Audra Harmon was pulled over because the police officer said she was talking on her cell phone and speeding. But after she got out of her minivan, she was tasered twice. It happened back in January outside of Syracuse, New York, and it was all caught on tape. Harmon described what happened to a local newspaper.
I handed in my license and registration, and as he started to walk back towards his car, I got out of my car under the impression or hoping that he was going to show me the camera tape. He asked me to get back in the car, and then he pulled out his taser and said I was under arrest. I said, "Don't do this in front of my kids."
Audra Harmon was in the car with two of her children, ages 5 and 15, when she was pulled over and ticketed for talking on her cell phone and speeding. Police officer Sean Andrews also charged her with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest, and tasered her twice.
And the first shot jolted me, and I was trying to get back in the car again because I was scared. And then he yanked me away again, and that's when he tased me, and I went down on the ground.
Harmon claims the incident is an example of police brutality. In a statement to NBC News, the Onondaga County Sheriff's Office said they can't comment because of the lawsuit, but the department says, quote, an internal investigation of the incident involving Deputy Andrews is and has been under review.
These weapons, and they are weapons, they are so easy to use, and they're easy to abuse. Officers are using this weapon in circumstances where live ammunition would never be allowed, and people are dying after having been tasered.
That's what happened in 2007 when a 40-year-old man was tasered at the Vancouver airport in Canada. The incident caused an international uproar following his death. Back in June, police in Texas tasered a 72-year-old great-grandmother after pulling her over for speeding. She was not seriously injured. And then, of course, there's this infamous tasering involving University of Florida student Andrew Meyer back in 2007. After Audra Harmon was tasered, she was taken to the hospital.
It felt like it was an electrical shock going through you, and I had no control over anything.
Well, Deputy Andrews was taken off road patrol following the incident. The sheriff's office says he's currently assigned to Why did you decide to do that?
Because I wanted to see the tape. I knew that he was lying. I knew that I wasn't speeding. I knew that I wasn't on the cell phone, and I wanted him to show me the tape.
Did you get belligerent with him at all?
Not at all. Not at all. I never swore. My hands were not,
Flailing or whatever.
flailing away. I posed no threat to him.
And is that when he presented the taser in front of you, as you were approaching his car?
Well, I never moved from my vehicle. I just stepped out. As a matter of fact, he came towards me rather than I going towards him. I don't remember if he said that I was under arrest before the taser or after. A lot of it is still kind of a blur.
But so much is happening so quickly. You did get back in the car. In fact, your 15-year-old son, I guess, told you, Mom, get back in.
Yes, he did.
And then the police officer pulled you out?
Yes, correct. He wanted to arrest me, and so after I got in, he wanted me back out again. Instead of just leaving it, I got back in my car. It should have been over right there. And I wouldn't have reacted like I did if I was on my cell phone or I was speeding. I knew that either he was having a bad day or whatever. He knew that I wasn't doing those things.
So you were eventually tasered twice, correct?
Yes. The first time, it just bounced off my jacket, or it didn't penetrate into my skin. The second one actually penetrated into my skin.
And I know prior to this, you said to the police officer, "Don't do this in front of my children." You were pleading before the taser actually occurred, before he tasered you. What's happening with your kids? You have a 5-year-old daughter in that car and a 15-year-old son.
Yeah. My daughter was crying. I heard her saying, "Mommy." And afterwards, my son said that she was, really crying hysterically and wanting to know what happened to Mommy. And then, of course, she wanted her daddy, because she's Daddy's girl, and she knew that I wasn't going to be able to come to her, so then she wanted Dad. But the disturbing part is they were left in that car for almost 40 minutes, and for those periods of time where they were alone. And
where are you at that point?
I was in the back of Andrew's patrol car.
Handcuffed.
Handcuffed.
You eventually ended up in the hospital. Did you need medical attention?
Well, the EMT, the ambulance, came to the scene to remove the probe from me, and then they asked me if I wanted to go to the hospital, and I said yes. And then that's where they did it to make sure that my heart was pumping.
Well, Terry, I know you were saying the officer is off patrol duty at this point. The DA has said that we're not going to prosecute Audra at all, but you're pursuing this as a civil case. Why?
Well, Meredith, there's several reasons. In fact, that's one of the reasons is why we're here this morning. We're not here to try the case. There'll be a court proceeding. The defendants will be there and will be permitted to give their evidence. But the issue here really is much broader than Audra's case. The reason why we're here is because tasering has become a problem not only locally. I found out that a man in Onondaga County was killed by a taser within the last year.
So this is really to bring awareness then?
One of it is bring awareness, and also to perhaps awareness not only that anybody could be a potential victim, but awareness to the police officers who have the tasers to be a little more judicious and think it out a little bit more before they use this kind of a device. And then the overall picture is whether or not tasers themselves should be used in law enforcement.
All right. Mr. Hoffman, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much. Audra as well, thank you so much for joining.